I want to turn now to Dr. Vanderhoff and have him give us an update in regard to the variants. This is something that he is following every single day. And Doctor, thank you for again joining us and tell us what's going on in Ohio.
Well, thank you very much, Governor. As we progress into April, it's clear that Ohio and the nation are enduring yet another wave of COVID-19, but as you noted, this time it's being driven by the new variants of the original virus. As you highlighted, we're seeing this in the numbers. Our 2-week average of cases per 100,000 up over 180. Our testing positivity rate back above 4%. Our concurrent hospitalization number at 1193, which is, by the way, close to where we were all the way back at the beginning of March. And our variant numbers continue to grow. In addition, evidence continues to mount that B117, along with other variants, is not only more contagious, it's also more deadly. Here in Ohio, B117 and the 2 California variants, B1427 and 1429, account for more than 95% of our variant detections. And B117 alone, which really seems to have been the variant driving the wave both nationally and in Michigan, accounts for the lion's share of our total. Just to give an idea of how quickly B117 and the variants are spreading, our variant counts jumped from 92 back on March 12th up to 797 today. That's a doubling time of about every 9 to 10 days, which is very similar to what they saw this winter in the United Kingdom. But our spring surge of variants here in Ohio is in fact happening in a better context than what the UK endured this winter because of our very successful vaccination effort. As the governor noted, now with more than 1/3 of all Ohioans having received a vaccine. And we also have paired with that a strong track record of masking in public. Now, on top of that, we also have increasingly good news about our vaccines and their ability to provide immunity that's not only long-lasting, but also holds up very well against the variants. So, as the governor noted, Ohio remains in a very important race against the virus and its variants, and variants that are now more deadly, and we know from other parts of the world spread like wildfire. But we can win the race as long as we don't falter, as long as we continue to press on with consistent masking and getting the vaccine. Thank you, Governor.
Doctor, let me ask a couple of questions. The variant count that you were using, that 700 and some, what does that mean, though? And how often are we testing for variants? And what labs can do that, or how many labs can do it? Because it doesn't sound like a very high number. You used it in the context of where we were, where we are, how fast it's moving. Can you want to explain that?
Yes. So what our variant count is essentially is a sample. What's important about the variant count really is not the absolute number, it's the trend of the numbers that we observe. The fact is that we are able to test only a subset of all the COVID tests that are performed because we're only able to run these genomic surveillances off of PCR tests, and of those, only those where there's still enough available, enough sample available to run an additional test, the genomic test. Layer onto that the fact that there are a limited number of labs with this very advanced technology and capability. Nevertheless, we run a lot. We are right now testing somewhere in the neighborhood in the state of 1/4 to 1/3 of all the positive tests through this genomic surveillance. But everyone in the country, as they're looking at these numbers, it does not look at them in terms of the absolute number of variants, but rather as an indicator of what proportion of activity is being driven by the variants. And what these numbers tell me is we have a sizable portion of the activity that this virus is engaged in that now is being driven by these variants. And I am confident that we will see more and more. And quite frankly, I think within the next couple of weeks, the variant will be the virus that we are dealing with.
So if I understand what you're saying, you think within 2 weeks it will be, these variants will be the dominant, will be?
Yes. Yeah, right now, if you look nationally, it's about a third of the virus that's out there is believed to be B117 or its cousins.
And when you talk about, I mean, we've been talking for some time, medical professionals like you have been talking for some time, that these are more contagious. But, you know, I didn't start hearing more deadly until, I don't know, a week or so ago. How do we quantify these, or do we quantify these?
Well, that's a really good observation, Governor. And I think that's in part because the medical and scientific professions have been learning more and more about these variants over time. And originally, we were not really sure that they in fact were more deadly, that they in fact caused more severe disease. We sure knew that they spread a lot faster. As we've learned more about them, it's increasingly clear they're both. They spread really fast and they cause people to get sicker.